In 1881, Africa was the second largest free continent in the world, with only Liberia and Ethiopia being independent. Yet by 1882, it was completely annexed by European powers. How did this happen? Why did it happen so fast? And what does it mean for us today? This is the incredible story of how an entire continent was annexed in just 1 year. Before we start, if you enjoy these kinds of videos, please subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Thank you. The colonization of Africa is usually divided into two periods. Early colonization from the 1400s to the 1800s, and rapid colonization from the 1880s to the 1960s. In the first period, European powers established small coastal settlements and trading posts, and enslaved most of the natives to work in the booming sugar plantations. However, internal revolts and external pressure from other Europeans forced them to abandon most of their colonies or to merge them into larger colonial empires. The scramble for Africa started when the Ottoman Empire collapsed and left Egypt in turmoil. Britain sent an expedition force to occupy Egypt and used it as a base to start annexing territories. But soon other Europeans followed. Between 1881 and 1884, France, Britain, Portugal and Germany all raced to claim as much of Africa as possible. This caused multiple conflicts between them. For example, in 1884, France and Britain almost went to war over the control of the Niger River. But they solved it with the Hackler Treaty. However, there was one European power that did not participate in this race: Italy. Italy had a very weak navy and army and could not compete with the other powers. So, they decided to do something different. On March 1881, they sent an expedition to occupy a small region on the east coast of Africa and called it Italian Eritrea. But this was just the beginning. On June 1882, a group of Italian explorers led by an army officer named Magliola discovered a fertile valley with a large river and many oases. They named it Ethiopia after the nearby Ethiopian Empire and claimed it as an Italian colony. The Italians were the first Europeans to reach this area and they wanted to expand their empire there. But they had one problem: the local tribes were resisting their rule. So they asked for help from Ethiopia. The Italians promised to respect Ethiopia's independence and to pay them an annual sum of 2 million lira in exchange for military support. With the help of Ethiopia, the Italians defeated the tribes and established full control over Eritrea. But soon they got greedy and wanted more land. They started to move south and west and encountered another European power, Britain. The British had already occupied a large part of East Africa, and they did not want the Italians to expand any further. So they pressured the Italians to stay within their borders. Meanwhile, the French were also moving into East Africa from the west, and they had a similar goal to the British. They wanted to stop the Italians from growing bigger. Soon the French and the British met the Italians in a small village called Adwa on March 2nd. 1896. The battle was fierce, but the Italians were outnumbered and outgunned by the Ethiopians, and they lost. This was the last straw for the Europeans. They had enough of the Italians being a nuisance and decided to crush them once and for all. 1899. The Berlin Conference took place, where the European powers met up to redivide Africa among themselves. The Italians were not invited to this conference because they were not considered a great power. At the conference, the Europeans agreed to stop the Italians from having any more colonies in Africa and to take away their Eritrean colony if they tried anything funny. The Italians were furious about this, but they could not do anything about it. Their dream of having a large empire in Africa was shattered. After the Battle of Adwa, Ethiopia became a buffer state between the British and Italian colonies. After World War I, Ethiopia was partially occupied by Italy, but after World War II, they were fully restored by the United Nations. In conclusion, the colonization of Africa happened in two periods. In the first period, European powers established coastal settlements and enslaved most of the natives. In the second period, European powers raced to annex all of Africa in just 1 year due to various factors such as competition, technology, and resources. Italy tried to join the race but failed and ended up with no colonies in Africa. The only African countries that remained independent were Ethiopia and Liberia. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. Thank you.